Well, hello, internet land. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Happy Monday? End of the Monday.
Oh, great. Just another day.
I would say it's been a Monday.
Yes.
It's been a hell of a Monday.
We're in a new month already. We're almost done. It's gonna be December before you know it.
Not wrong.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I have a fun question for everybody.
Uh-oh.
So I may or may not have mentioned in the Discord the other day, but have you ever woken up
Oh, gosh.
and your butt hurts for no apparent reason?
Oh my god.
And it's like your butt's not hurting because like it feels like something got shoved in there overnight. It feels like your butt, like cheeks hurt, like you've been working out your butt all night. Because sometimes it just is like I wake up and I'm like, man, was I wielding a sword between these two cheeks and fending off demons all night? Because my god, why is my booty sore? And that has been happening more recently. And I don't know if that's because of what the scenario I just described, or if it's because I'm getting older.
That's a weird sensation.
Glute should always be part of your leg day rotation.
Yeah.
Is that what
You're not wrong.
But
It's
leg day every day?
I'm apparently doing leg
I have
day
a
every
t-shirt
day.
that says leg day every day because my background, I spent way too
What if-
long as a massage therapist.
What if you're not one of
day.
those people who
There
grind
you
their
go.
teeth in their sleep? You grind your cheeks in your sleep. You're like
yeah.
constantly.
Yeah.
You wake up and you're like, oh man, I'm so sore.
That must be what it is. 'Cause
I think we're about to become a very different stream than what we're advertising.
Oh my god.
That or you have like a ghost that was a Swedish masseur that is like, I gotta get this out, and you're just there going to
it's
town.
like,
on you.
man, I gotta pass on to the next life, and well, this is my purpose.
If I don't get 100 more butt massages out, I'll be stuck here forever.
Oh,
I don't want
no.
this conversation anymore.
All right. Anyway, that's the kind of Monday that it's been that we have
That
like
is the
reverted
kind of Monday
into that.
where you get attacked by a Swedish chef in your sleep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's cool.
We're here.
Well, here,
I'm here.
alive again.
Yes, we are here. We are alive again. This is Whispers of Doom. We are done with Rusthenge. It is behind us. And
Like
there's some
progress.
unfortunate events that happened towards the end of there, and we're moving on. My name is Robert. I'm the GM, and I'm lost. I'm lost in my copy now. So let's just introduce yourselves. Who are you? Who are you playing? Yeah, let's do that.
We're introducing new characters already.
Sure, yeah, just names.
Well, we're not introducing our dead characters, that's for sure.
We could, for old time's sake.
I play an old skeleton man.
That's it. That's what you get.
But he's the only player character. Old skeleton man.
Exactly. Hi, my name is Cody, otherwise known as Bartails here on Twitch, and I am playing a goblin. Will not say name of class right now due to Robert restrictions. And I am a goblin something or other. And there may or may not be another character I also will be playing as a technicality.
Oh god.
So be excited for that, because I am.
Can you guess what his character class is before we
No.
announce it?
Something with a goofy familiar. I don't know. My name is Dylan, and I'm playing a human. After saying we shouldn't play humans, I fell back into a human. I'm playing a human named Calliope Danmuir.
Nice.
Something.
Yeah, I guess I'll go. We didn't get the name of Kobe's goblin. Maybe that was.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
No, that actually was not intentional. Thank you. My goblin's
call.
name is Gidzak. Gidzak Shatterglass.
It's a very wow goblin name.
I love it.
I may or may not have mained a goblin shaman for a hot minute. Subconsciously, that might have been the inspiration.
Right. For the horde. Anyways,
Damn it.
I I am playing Silflay Flamgast, a Leshy. I'm Jacob, by the way, aka Spellcrashers on everything, mostly YouTube though.
Well, guess that leaves me. I'm Nick, also known as Red, or Red's fine. And I am playing Rip the Trip Key.
Brip. Not rip, but brip.
Rip.
Rip.
With a B.
With a B. Nice. I can't wait to meet these new characters. Before we do, I feel like I have to preface a little bit. For those in Twitch land, there are some channel point rewards that you can find below the chat, from naming NPCs to dropping loot for the party to find after their next encounter. That is, if they survive. So, fingers crossed they do, so they can find your loot. If they don't, it'll be the next party that finds it.
On a Hunger Games situation where just like the potion floats down in a little.
Right. Well, I mean that's what happened
Parachute.
to Anchor, right? Like if
Yeah.
Anchor was like, hey, find some stuff. Like, well,
Right.
we can't find it when we're dead.
Exactly.
We appreciate your support.
Gave it to the enemy.
If you guys want to get crazy out there in Twitch land, you can also donate your bits to the channel. For 500, you can reward the players with obols or hero points. Gives them the ability to reroll a die or make me reroll one of my own. Or for 1,000 of those precious biddies, you can roll in chat a D100 to pull from a super secret random encounter table. I think that's about it. So, with all that said, are you guys ready to live by the die and die by the die? That's okay. I give that a 7. 6.5.
We've gotten a lot better. For like
That's pretty good.
our standards, that was maybe a 9.5.
I mean, now
Honestly,
that we've died, it really codified it because we both lived and died by the die.
Yeah, we really never knew it till now. You know, we never really knew what it meant.
We had to understand.
Now-
we had to die
now
to
we know.
understand it.
I do also love
man.
that in Foundry there is a folder that says "In Memoriam."
I put that there.
Oh,
Yeah, I know
in
you
there.
did.
Yeah, who else could have?
Breaking my heart.
All right. So, let me switch gears here. I'm gonna switch scenes as well as change the ambiance a bit.
And I wouldn't mind using some of my channel points.
I know.
Yeah, I have like 25k.
Damn.
Yeah, I know.
That's more than a magic item apiece.
Ooh, another
I-
different starting screen.
I know. If you as a viewer would like would like to spend something, let me know.
Just ask everybody in the cast.
Yeah, I've got 20k myself.
All right, you guys ready to do this damn thing? So I've got a
I
little
thought
bit
you
of
were
a
doing it
again.
again.
Yeah,
I was
Are you guys
like,
ready to?
oh,
That's our other slogan. Ready to do this damn thing?
Ready to do the damn thing? All right, so let's
the damn thing.
let's do the dish. All right, you hear the sounds of frogs, crickets, and all manner of buzzing insects. You all blink a few times. Your eyes adjust to the dim, greenish light filtering down from a hazy, clouded sky where a sun struggles to pierce through a canopy of twisted, ancient cypress. Splash noise there. As well as willow trees. Their trunks rise up like giants, thick and gnarled, roots sprawling and curling out of the murky, brackish water like skeletal fingers clutching the earth. Moss hangs and drips from the branches, curtain-like swaying gently, casting eerie, shifting shadows. Title card appears, fades in, whispers of doom, and then in the Grindel Grove font below it, location unknown. Date and time unknown. And then it all fades away to reveal the swamp. The air is heavy with the scent of damp earth, decaying leaves and something faintly metallic, like rusted iron or maybe blood. There's a bitterness that clings to it, to the back of your throat, even. And every now and then you catch a whiff of something sweet and floral, like wild orchids or rotting fruit. It's mixing disturbingly with the swamp's more pungent odors. There's this constant deep croak of bullfrogs echoing through the water, resonant and rhythmic. Bugs buzzing endlessly, some so close that you feel the faintest brush of their wings against your cheek. Every now and then something sloshes in the water, a fish, maybe something bigger. Small plops and rustling noises hint at unseen creatures. Amphibians or reptiles slipping between gnarled roots and beneath lily pads that float on the water's surface like emerald green shields. The whole place feels alive, and you feel as if you're being watched. Before you is a trail made of sodden and swollen wooden planks sunk into the mud. Meanders through the wetlands before you. Behind you, another trail with more soft ground than planks that leads away to somewhere. You all realize now that you were in mid-stride with your companions? Question mark? They feel familiar, but you're unsure. The last thing you remember is following someone along the wooden planks. You check yourself, all your gears with you, and you all look at each other. Why don't you describe what your character looks like? Let's go with Nick.
Alrighty. Well, my character, as I mentioned before, is a trip key. So, amphibian, frog-like humanoid creature. 3 feet tall, green skin, sort of like a giant tree frog. He wears armor, green and brown, maybe some orange here and there that really kind of blends with the environment. He carries a heavy crossbow and a short sword, and he would probably be seen up in the trees, scurrying around through the trees and jumping from tree to tree.
Okay. And who notices the trip key in the trees next? Volunteers?
I think Gidzak, a small, dark green, almost brownish goblin wearing what appears to be what some might consider more noble clothing, but for them it's more of a like casual wear. A scarlet red shirt with purple trim and some boots with a light green, almost gray trim around the tops and the bottom, with a kind of a little crown-like thing on top of their head. But it's nothing too fancy. Something that they might have even made out of leftover parts you find around. They are looking around and they think they hear something up in the trees. They look up and their slitted little ears brush back against their shoulders and see big old frog eyes up in the tree. She's like, what? Oh shit! What are you doing up there?
Well, I imagine the only part you see is his eyes, you know, and so for a moment there'd be a blink, and he would just disappear, and then the eyes come back.
All right, ominous blinking. Not exactly an answer. I mean, do you know who you're talking to, bud? My name is Gidzak Giddy Scarnetti. Please answer me.
You came into this swamp.
And you came into that tree. Now, who are you?
Both
Oh,
of you, Brip
I'm
and-
Brip.
Brip and
Rip?
Giddy, you both notice that there are two other figures that were in mid-stride with you.
Yeah, get a load of this guy. Brip up in his little tree.
And yet, Scarnetti stands before us. I think for Silflay, you would immediately see, sort of upon first glance, their autumnal color palette, right? Orange, yellow, brown, the occasional glimpse of green. But everything is very muted, as if it's been bleached by too much sun. As you can see, or at least the Twitch people, but if from head to toe, they stand just over 3 feet tall, although they have this wide brim, sort of floppy wizard hat that grants them a perceived height of 4 feet, so I'm slightly taller than this goblin. It's hard to tell from the attire, since everything overlaps, like leaves falling together, but there is a person under there, though fully obscured. And outside of this tangled mess, there's a couple things that just stand out. You see taupe-colored knee-high boots that have a much thicker heel than usual, a smooth, pale, faceless mask, and of course the oversized hats. And she does wear a slew of adventuring gear, large backpack, additional kits, water gourd, a rather oversized handgun on the hip, and barely seen is the strand of a necklace just kind of tucked in everything.
And a gun.
It appears to be an oversized handgun on their hip.
Okay.
Interesting.
Hear those noises Brip's making?
You make sure to load that thing just in case big ol' eyes up there gets unfriendly. And what about you, tall, dark, and quiet?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, towering above the rest of these characters here, even Brip up in the tree is someone who stands about just under 6 feet tall, so pretty much double everyone's height. She has perfect posture and a serious demeanor. She is wearing all black, hood up, pretty much full plate without a helm. The armor is a deep, dull black with silver accents. The breastplate sculpted in a way that makes it appear almost as if it were a rib cage. There is a spiral of pharasma across the middle of the chest on the sternum. Underneath the hood, you would see her face is covered in a white paint. This character art might not depict that, but her face is covered in a white paint with a few black vertical lines across the mouth, offering the suggestion of skull's teeth. Black horizontal stripe of paint across her eyes from temple to temple, darkening them. She is currently wearing a sword on her back and a dagger at her hip. And she's kind of just walking through, not really saying much, just not sure how we got here, and she's not going to speak until she really is understanding what's going on. She feels like she's with she kind of feels like she's babysitting with all these small people around. She's just like, I don't understand what's going on. Not looking down on them like because of their stature, but looking down on them because she is very tall compared to them.
So it
I
feels
think-
like to all of you that you had been walking here, following something or somebody further into the swamp across these sodden wooden planks, but your memories are strange. You were in the middle of walking and you don't remember why or where you are, how you got here.
Get out of my swamp.
Brip, you would know that this isn't your swamp. It feels different. It smells different.
Sure. Yeah, he would. I'm sure he would immediately. Well, could I do like a nature or survival to determine based on foliage, fauna, stuff like that, where I am?
Yeah, you can roll a secret survival check. Okay. So the fauna, the flora that you're able to see, it feels familiar, but you know deep down that this isn't your swamp. All the flora and fauna, you've heard and you've seen the types of trees and moss and the lily pads. Like you know the types of plants and critters roaming around.
Yeah.
You don't know where you are.
So I imagine that's why he is up in the trees trying to determine the location of the sun to tell him what's up, what's down, what's north, what's south kind of situation.
Sure.
But if that's the case, he would come down, expertly climb down the tree, and join the other standing next to Giddy and Sil Flay. Just kind of look up at the forest. You're big.
Hello, my little friend. Don't be afraid. That's not that character's voice. I was quoting Star Wars. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi when he meets R2-D2. For the record.
I don't know. I didn't question it at all.
Sorry.
I didn't either. I was
I
just like,
couldn't
all right,
resist.
there it is.
The confidence is there. We just all went with it. Yeah.
No,
I
I
didn't even
quote
notice.
Star Wars with confidence, so I apologize for the confusion.
Yeah,
What?
Soflay actually looks up at you, Calliope. Calliope?
E, yeah.
Are you the one we were following?
I'm not quite sure, honestly. I feel like I was at the end of the road here, following you all. But it's hard to say for sure.
Strange. Do any of you recognize this place?
I honestly thought I was following one of you, and then kind of the Spider-Man pointing meme happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you say it, I was following you, points at Giddy, but then somehow you were following me, and
So
then
we
we were
were
following
walking-
her.
We were walking in a circle around each other, like a ring around the rosy.
I know this isn't my swamp.
Wait, hold on a minute. Real quick, do any of you know my name? Do I know any of your names? Because we don't even know how we got here. Clearly.
I was following someone. I don't know why. I'm Soflay.
Hi, Silflay. I may have mentioned it, but I'm Brett. And he would stick out a froggy hand.
And she kind of tentatively shakes it. I'm a fire warden from Sandpoint.
Oh, from Sandpoint. Well, convenient. I'm also from Sandpoint. I suppose I did introduce myself a little bit earlier, but
You mentioned Scarnetti. You're with that family.
in a matter of speaking, yeah.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Now, I know there's a reputation, but Ma and Pa Scarnetti aren't that bad. once you get to know them, and avoid saying their name in public.
You've done multiple times.
Hey, well,
Where this ain't no public. This is a swamp.
Fair enough.
and how about you?
My name is Calliope, and I, like all of you, don't know really where we're at here, but Sandpoint does ring a bell for me, so I would say that's a good sign.
I'm typically in a swamp, and you two here I would normally see in a swamp, pointing to the two of his height. But I don't see you in a swamp that often.
I can't say that I've seen myself in a swamp ever. But we're here now. There must be a reason for it.
Wait, when have you seen me in a swamp? Hold on.
I think he's insulting your culture as a goblin.
No, just seen many goblins in the swamp alongside the tripkeys and boggards.
I
He's
get you.
just generalizing goblins.
The
As a
swamp is
whole.
where the Scarnettis belong. That's what he's referring to.
Giddy's ears kind of pull back and he sneers a little bit.
So Flay just looks at you with this like there's just eyes in this mask and just black you can't see. So it's just this expressionless mask just
Cool.
looking at
Do
you.
we have any idea of what your ancestry is? Like, do we see your hands and or anything like that would lead to? Are you sort of covered?
So Flay is covered head to toe, but really looking at her and sort of the colors, like all the garments that they're sort of like like broken up and overlapped, and it looks like fallen leaves, and it's very naturalistic because of her height and just everything. It's either it's a really elaborate costume or she's a leshy. So I think it is safe to assume that she's a leshy, though most of her features all covered up.
So looking at Silflay's picture, that's not armor. Basically, that's
Yeah.
her.
Essentially, yeah.
And you look, if you see Brip has armor that he's made to look basically like you
Yeah.
know, mimicking the force around him. So it's interesting. He would grab a piece of his armor, a leaf, and sort of gesture to her, and mine's pretty good, but not as good as the real thing.
While this is going on, Calliope is kind of like putting her hands in her pouches and like looking around, and she pulls out a scroll and is looking through that and just kind of like reading a piece of paper that she has. And then says Mushfens. Is that a swamp? Is that maybe that where we're at?
Sounds more likely than not.
For you Sandpoint locals, that does sound familiar. Perhaps maybe more so for Brip, as that's one of the larger swamps to the south of Sandpoint. Sorry, Jacob, what'd you say?
I was asking if that was a roll, but it sounds like Brip has it.
Yeah, so I know it would be I was trying to bring up a map that I was using as reference. But I already so I rolled. I know that it's south. So more south than I'm used to.
Yes.
Right.
It's a few days south of Sandpoint. And it covers the entire southern peninsula of this part of Ursia.
Okay. Well, we need to head north. That's where Sandpoint is.
Well,
And that'll be a good common ground for all of us.
a moment. I have no reason not to trust you as of yet, but I'm going to trust you with what the contents of this scroll here are. This is addressed to me from Adrani, a woman? She's female?
Yes, an elven woman.
Oh, that's correct, yes. I did read that thing you sent me. I apologize.
It's all good.
She's, we've been in communication here and there, but, she has asked, according to this letter, she has asked me to accompany a man into the mush fens from Corvosa, where I am from. Horus is the name of this man, and he wishes to perform rites and ceremony to put his now deceased brother's soul to rest, as well as making any lawful claims of his passing here. She recommends I meet Father Xantus at the Sandpoint Cathedral, which you must
know him.
you locals. He will provide assistance and guidance for you, and I believe that the sheriff have some people in mind to accompany you, as traveling through the mushfens can be dangerous alone. I wonder if perhaps you are those people.
I've heard of the sheriff.
Name.
Bellower or whatever.
Baylor,
Oh.
played by Common.
As that's funny. As you guys are kind of talking, you each start to have like vague, very hazy flashbacks of a meeting. You guys have met each other before. You've talked. You have like this very faint memory of conversation between all four of you, Sheriff Baylor, Father Xantus, and this Horus Hornsbelow.
Well, Horus doesn't appear to be here. We were to accompany him.
Have we checked
Kind
on
of
the
looks
swamp?
around. skills
It's
are no-
a very good place to bury a man.
Ah, well. I could take a little bit of a look around. I don't want to get my stuff too swampy. So Giddy would like to roll survival.
I don't mind getting swampy at all.
Sure.
I mean, if you want to take the reins, my friend, you feel right on free. The less mud on me, the better.
Would
Oh, go ahead.
would this person be considered like someone I could hunt prey on, since I know of them, heard of them, kind of thing?
You try to remember what this person looks like, and you can't. And now that you guys are thinking about this meeting that you all had previously, remembering any details of the actual conversation is hazy. It feels as if you're looking through a fog of your own memory. It doesn't help that the constant rhythmic buzzing of the swamp is just making it hard to concentrate on anything past this moment. But for you all feel as if you were walking in the direction across these sodden wooden planks before you kind of came to.
I suppose we were already headed in one direction. Whatever's happening, we must have knew where we were going at some point.
It would make logical sense to continue forward.
I vote that Tall, Dark, and Beautiful up here heads up first.
You're pretty easy to hide behind.
Easy to
Well,
hide
you could-
behind, has armor.
I have an extra cloak. You could stand on each other's shoulders and we could be two of equal heights.
Now that is a good trick. I've done that before, but
No, thank you. And I start walking forward.
There. Sorry. Kind of out of character. Calliope would like to. She will start walking as well, but she would like to do an Arcana check to think of any type of magic that would make this type of thing happen. We're like, why are we not knowing anything? That should have been secret. I apologize, but it's a 12.
With the 12, it could be any numerous amounts of things. Supernatural. Oh, you said
Perfect.
Arcana?
Arcana, yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of spells or traps or hazards that can be laid in place to futz with somebody's memory or even illusion magic. It'd be wild to see, or like to even think that this is some kind of just illusion, but doesn't feel quite like an enchantment or charm. It's too broad of an effect for you to even consider something specific.
Copy.
So who's Calliope's in front, or Souffle's in front, or you're just walking forward?
I started, but I mean,
I assume
is
that-
much bigger than I am. So
Either
Just go
way,
from left to right, the front being Calliope.
if you got in front, she wouldn't like step over you to get in front of you. She would just continue walking behind you. She
I
almost feels better at the back, but just because I don't know, like you're all so small.
right. Okay, that's fine.
So I feel
yeah.
like she would want to be at the back to like watch you all.
Yeah,
But it's not because she doesn't trust you. Again, she's. I think she's just not used to being with such small people. So she would be like, I don't know. I think she'd
All right,
just try
then,
to like.
buddy system. I can tell you want to get in the back. Get in the back.
Just. I can see over all of you that way. I don't want to block your vision moving forward.
I suppose that's a fair point. You know, logistics.
How, Robert, out of curiosity, if I wanted to like maintain casting a spell, does that half my movement speed?
Yes. You trying to detect magic as you explore? Or do you have another spell in mind?
Detect metal.
Detect metal.
Ooh,
Interesting.
going off like a metal detector behind you.
Essentially, well, I mean, I can ignore you guys, but
Yeah.
I was thinking that I could.
That's a cool spell.
Use that to catch essentially anything unnatural here as we progress. So I think she steps in front and then starts walking forward, and you see her kind of casting and beginning to slow down as you guys start to follow her.
Cool. I like that. All right, yeah. So you begin detecting metal as you walk forward. Is anybody else doing something specific while moving forward through this swamp on these wooden planks?
I think Giddy would be trying to think of anything on the more occult side of the spectrum. So just kind of looking for any obvious signs, symbols, or energies otherwise of any occult reason as to why we're in this swamp and don't remember anything.
Okay.
Brip.
Please.
Brip would be probably like spending some of the time up in the trees. So maybe he would be more at Calliope's level, but he would be in like the nearby bush and trees. But a little in the back. Probably never on the ground, but always keeping watch where available. Obviously, not for any mechanical purpose. Just
Okay.
he will be avoiding notice.
Do you have a climb speed?
No.
No. Okay. Might be.
Not yet.
Do you get one?
Okay, so just give me a secret athletics check as you're traversing this foreign swamp. But you'll be moving at half speed alongside the rest of the party. Giddy, you're keeping an eye out for anything that might show up as occulty.
Yeah, I think Calliope is just running through that letter again mentally trying to put some pieces together and kind of muttering a prayer. Her hand is on her dagger at her hip, which operates as her holy symbol.
Okay.
As the favorite weapon of Pharasma.
All right, so you guys are walking along. I'd like for you guys to roll a perception check.
Secret?
Yes, everybody roll secret perception checks. You're moving.
What's the light sitch, by the way? Low light?
It's dim.
Okay.
Low light.
Good thing I got that. Oop, I don't
It
wanna-
feels like there is. Feels like it's still daylight beyond the canopy. Okay. After what feels like several hours, the light through the canopy doesn't seem to move, and every step seems a bit stranger than the next.
Several
light.
hours?
Yes, it feels like several hours. Though every step, yeah, it feels weird. Like this place doesn't feel natural, but at the same time it does. It's very strange. Like, you guys will catch moments in your vision where the light kind of bends at the edges of it. Scenery seems almost surreal, maybe akin to that of like a fisheye lens. And then it goes away again for a moment. Maybe like you wipe your face or slap a bug away, and then your vision refocuses again.
Did I slip and fall into one of Dad's pouches again?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Pouch of drugs? Hello? Tripped into a magic field of mushrooms again.
There's this constant
sound.
sound through your head.
It's like Nausicaa sounds.
Maybe is that headache?
Yeah, can Calliope do a religion check to see if we're on another plane?
Ooh. You can try. You don't think so?
Maybe it was a plane crash. Just
This is
kidding.
the first episode of Lost.
And
I hope Robert knows where we're going with this.
then we're gonna get real confusing around episode 25.
It's in
After
the hatch.
maybe a few more hours of walking, the trees of the swamp seem to thin out and then become sparse to reveal a collection of buildings surrounding a moss-covered well that it itself is surrounded by a pond. There are lanterns hung from overhangs and posts. They shed little light amid the gloom of the swamp. With the wider trail that you're on, seems to move to some of the larger buildings. And now that the trees have kind of opened up, you can clearly see that it is approaching dusk with dark clouds overhead. There are several buildings with signs that you can see. It looks like there's some kind of two-story barn, an open-air butcher or tanner. You can clearly see that it's got leathers hung and stretched in front of it. There's a small dark building with a little bit of firelight and the smell of herbs kind of wafting from it. There's a hut on the water nearby that kind of follows the swamp with steaks of fish drying surrounded by flies. And then there's a single-story building that looks fairly new and well kept and clean, with that you can see it's got a sign that's large enough with an axe thrown into a log into it. There's a sign.
Getting to the buildings, I would have dropped my spell.
Okay.
No need to have it here.
to add to that, so you did notice some natural formations of ore, kind of the depths of the swamp, occasionally.
Just make mental note of that.
So it's gonna be like Avatar. They're just gonna come in and try to ruin the swamp for that metal or something. That's what this AP is all about. Pathfinder Titanium.
Yeah. Dumbest fucking. Sorry, I hate that. Unobtainium.
Brip, as you were walking along, though, during a moment of clarity, the swamp seemed clearer for a moment, and your memories came back slowly and then quickly, and then just as you started to remember the conversation that you had with Father Xantus, it went away again. And you felt like your memory was hazed over once more as you continue to walk through and toward these buildings now.
Yeah, random hut in the middle of a swamp we don't know where at. This should be great.
Several buildings. It looks like this-
Several of them.
Yeah.
Even better.
Seems like we've stumbled across a commune, perhaps.
It's very potentially the place we were tasked to go from Adrani via Father Xantus. What was that? What was the little thorp called? No name here.
It's possible that we just forgot being in the swamp. Sometimes the swamp does some things to your mind. Maybe
Swamp
once we've been
gas.
out of the swamp for a while, we'll have a clearer head.
Yeah, those swamp gases will get to you.
Yeah, it's the boggart farts.
The boggart farts.
Yeah, it's what the stink is.
You said that there was signage. Is there any
Yeah.
indication of what this is what the name of this hamlet or whatever this is?
No, nothing like that. If you approach any of the buildings, it looks like they do have signs on them. One that you can more clearly see than the others.
It says days without accidents.
-5.
Yeah. We're on a bad streak here, town. The boggart farts. Calliope will, seeing it more of a civilized area out of the swamp, kind of step around the group and step in towards the town and try to read one of these signs.
Okay. Which building do you approach?
Probably whatever's closest.
Okay. So the closest was the one with the axe with a log in it. It is just it stands just
A log with an axe in it?
Yes. So you could assume that this might be some kind of carpenter or lumberjack. But as you approach, at the center of all these buildings, there's a fountain that's covered in moss, and you notice that there is a gnome passed out in front of it. As you kind of turn the corner to get a better look at this building, you notice this also.
What's it looking like over there, Calliope?
Not great.
All right, let's head the other way.
Follow up. Come here. She motions. She doesn't really take her eyes off, and she just motions back with a hand and follow up. Come on up.
So Flay would walk up and kind of peer over.
She just points.
I don't think Brip would have came out of any cover yet.
Giddy is gonna very cautiously approach, and probably only Brip would notice this, as the other two are ahead. But he's you kind of see him rubbing his fingers together, and you see little sparks start to form, and he's just Just in case. Just in case.
So who's closest to the approach to this gnome?
Calliope is in front.
Yeah, it's like,
So-
if there's no other signs of life, like there's not like people milling about, like
Not as far as you can tell. You might actually catch a little bit of conversation or laughter coming from the two-story barn, but the
sound like
gnome.
common.
It does sound like common. The gnome in front of you though is like laid on his side, and now that you're approaching, you can clearly see that he's wearing rags, and his hair and skin are almost stark white. You can see that his hair may have been like a shockish mix of green and yellow, but it is turning white. And if you or your characters have been around gnomes, you know that he's probably going under the effects of the bleaching.
Sad times.
And you can see that the rags of clothes that he's wearing looks like stained heavily with liquor or beer or something. But anybody approaching, go ahead and roll a secret perception check, please.
Yes. Seeing that little bit extra stuff, definitely, Calliope's definitely going to be trying to get up there. Try to lend some medicinal help to the Poe bastard, and I'll roll a secret medicine check as well to assess any type of. Oh, it didn't go secret.
It's okay.
I think I did blind GM, so I saw it. But
Okay.
I also have dubious knowledge, by the way. So if I fail but don't critically fail, you can like fuck with me.
Okay. That's just with the medicine check that you tried, right?
Correct. I should have rolled the perception check for you as well.
You did. I got everybody's perception checks. That was
Okay.
on the approach to the gnome. Souffle. The strange buzzing seems to stop for a moment, and as soon as it does, you notice that your vision clears. The haze is gone from your mind, and you start to remember bits and pieces of the conversation with Father Xantus and Sheriff Baylor. It seemed like a good conversation, and you believe that Baylor had asked you to aid Calliope in this endeavor to escort Horus to this thorp in the middle of the Mushfits. But as soon as you remember that, the buzzing comes back. But just before it does, you notice that the gnome in front of you, he doesn't just look drunk. He looks like he's been beaten, bloodied. But that noise comes back, rhythmic buzzing, and when it does, it looks like he's no longer bloodied or beaten.
What?
Yeah, I mean, she just kind of shakes her head and puts hands on either side of her face. I don't like this. I don't like this.
You're doing all right over there.
Just looks blankly at you, then looks back to Calliope. How does he look?
What are they talking about, Giddy?
This
I have
gnome's not
strange
looking too
visions.
good, I guess. I don't really know. He just
Calliope.
looks
Oh, go ahead.
white to me.
Yeah, Calliope, with your medicine check, it's clear that he's undergoing the bleaching effect. But it's
he's
otherwise
alive
drunk,
and
alive, breathing, passed out.
well, he's seems to have one too many or four, for what it's worth, but should be all right, barring the bleaching continuation, I guess. She'll kind of like roll him onto his side to make sure if he pukes, he doesn't Jimi Hendrix himself. And then
When you roll him over, you can see that there are a few empty bottles.
oh wow, 4 too many. Should quadruple that.
He kind of goes, no, oh, no.
Well, at least he's alive.
Easy,
Hey,
friend.
buddy!
Huh?
Hey, buddy! He's kind of yelling at the gnome.
Got it. Okay.
He kind of like shakes his head and then rolls back over, continues to sleep if you let him.
I mean, he's the only person we've found here. Should we wake him up? I feel bad for him, but
We don't even know where here is.
that's part of the problem.
Can I
Say,
walk up and look at this man and kind of examine and see if I can find those bruises and like this bloody demeanor that I saw briefly?
Sure, yeah. You look over him. Yeah, now he's got his kind of back turned to you. He's like snuggled up against this ridge of this pond ridge that encircles this fountain at the center of town. You can see his neck and you can kind of see his arms. Doesn't look like he's been. I don't see any bruises or blood stains anywhere on him or on the floor around him. But you in your head, it was clear this day that he was beaten and bloodied. And maybe even as you try to recollect that, even though it was just a minute or so ago, the fountain may have been spilling out blood for half a moment. And now it's just nothing. There's nothing spilling out of the fountain. It's overgrown.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stand up, kind of shake my head, and then walk back out into the middle of the road. Hold the wide brim hat and just kind of like pull it down a little bit, kind of like create like a full shelter, as I'm just kind of seems like looking around with intention, but I'm actually just kind of like aimlessly trying to think of what is going on.
Okay.
well, this should let this guy sleep it off, but hearing the laughter from that two-story barn and knowing there's other people around in the town, we should I think Calliope is trying to should definitely try to speak with someone about where we are without making too big of a scene.
Is he is he wearing a holy symbol of any kind?
I don't know. Is he?
Didn't look like, as far as you saw, it looks like he was just in rags.
We might need to.
Gnomes?
Could have been a good indicator of whether they were going to be helpful or not.
Well, he's got a holy
Don't know
symbol
if-
underneath him.
Do gnomes really generally worship?
They can. Like
I don't know.
Temp-
I feel like-
Temples of Bree. It's the only one that I can think of at the top of my head.
I let go of my hat and kind of walk up to Calliope as you move towards the two-story buildings. Well, we were supposed to escort Horace to a place in the swamp. What does Horace look like?
Which swamp?
We're assuming a lot here, but I'm assuming this is the town, and Horace is somewhere here. Probably this man is not Horace, like indicating back towards the drunken gnome. His last name is, per the note, his last name is Hornspillow, which doesn't seem gnomish. It could be. Names are like Frizzle Fraz and stuff normally. That could be racist, but I've only met like one gnome.
Sophia
Wow,
just kind of
that's
cocks her
fucked up.
head at you.
That's what the one gnome I met was named. That's just all the information I have.
Sounds
Again,
a little.
horns below. It, what-
Sounds a little gnomish, in my opinion.
It very well could be, but how long? We couldn't have lost him that long enough for him to get that drunk. I feel like it would have been noted in the note here that he's a gnome going through the bleaching. It's not mentioned at all. That's kind of important detail to leave out.
Maybe
Should
they
ask
didn't know
around
that.
Your intuition was
A
guiding
friend-
you to this building. Why don't we go peek in? And sure, just kind of walk by and lead the way over to the building.
I imagine that if Giddy ever walks forward and left Brit behind, he would end up getting like froggy run. You know, his little froggy feet catching up.
Little tippy tappies.
Yeah, you know, like a kid down the hallway kind of sound.
All right, well, I guess it's you and me, Frog Boy. Let's head over.
Let's do it.
And is it just Giddy and Brip approaching the two-story, or is it everybody?
I think we were just catching up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, so you guys catch up, and your approach to this two-story barn. It feels big inside. You walk by. There's several open windows, and Calliope here you can see in easily enough. It looks like a tavern. Looks like there's probably a dozen or more seats. You hear the sound of chatter. You can see what looks to be like a woman is running the bar behind it, and maybe 3 other people inside.
But not super populated.
No. It's strange though, because outside of this town center, there's clearly at least a dozen other huts and houses, a mix between the two.
Calliope will look down at Silflay and say, "Well, shall we?" And she'll push the door open.
Okay, you push the door open. Followed
Or pull.
by the rest of your compatriot. It goes both ways.
Oh, perfect.
And yeah, you walk in, and we're gonna take a break.
Oh.
So we'll be right back. Thanks for sticking with us for this interlude between Rusthenge and Seven Dunes for Sandpoint. We'll be right back.
Burb.
And we're back. Back in this strange swamp. What are we doing here? I don't know. I mean, I do know, but do you guys?
Say if you don't know. That's no good.
I have an idea. All right, so you guys have just gained consciousness on this walk through the swamp. Learned that you're escorting a person named Horace Hornsbelow at the request of Calliope's friend or acquaintance named Adrani. There is something strange going on in this little commune
Neighborhood.
town in the middle of the mush fens. It's everything that you've learned so far. Silflay is having some strange occurrences though with that gnome at the fountain. He seemed to be just drunk, passed out, and wanting to be left alone. You guys did, and moved towards a 2-story barn that seemed to be the only town's inn or tavern. Calliope, you open the door with the rest of the group behind you to reveal a pretty well-lit and clean establishment. However, for the dozen or so chairs and stools, there are only 3 people here, as well as a single barkeep, a woman. She's got red, wavy hair. She's tattooed heavily with markings of like skulls and bones. She
Whoa.
looks a little bit like this.
Whoa. That's cool.
The other patrons inside of this establishment, 2 look like a married couple off the bat, kind of holding each other's hands and laughing. And there's just one other person at the bar, kind of just looking down into his cup. It's like a human, all human. The bartender sees you open the door and she says, "Oh my gosh, we have visitors." And she kind of smiles and she says, "Please sit anywhere you'd like. I mean, we've got plenty of seats." And she kind of brushes off an apron and rushes over to where you guys are.
Perfect. Well, don't mind if we do.
Yeah, pull up a stool to a table and just sit down.
I think-
Unslings the sword off of her back and sets it on the arm of the chair.
Rip would follow a bit. He'd be sort of nervous, cautious, skittish.
So Sophie would join at the table, but because of her height, she kind of has to like kneel on top of the stool to sit over the table.
Gid is just kind of sitting up there and like swinging his little feet, nowhere near touching the ground.
Yeah, Calliope's just like thinking to herself, like, what an interesting group that the sheriff was like, I know what Calliope needs. 3 green, 3-foot-tall characters. That'll be perfect for her journey through the swamp. Which actually, not bad. I'll probably blend in so much better than me.
Yeah, I mean,
Camouflage.
you're Leia Skywalker, and we're all different versions of Yoda.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Right. And ironically, above table, like this was not coordinated. We just
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
separately landed on
Yeah, for real.
miniature beans.
Yeah.
We were like, not all humans again, and then
Yeah.
we end up with another commonality.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Quick, someone change to Konrasu. Throw everyone off.
Oh, it's too rare.
We're like 3 humans. Okay, new plan. 3 green people. Fuck.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. I'm
If
sorry.
we all die, we'll just be kobolds in a trench coat.
There you go.
Mm.
I failed to mention this, but as you guys walked in, there was a mud room that led into the tavern proper, and there's cubbies for people to hang their coats and belongings, and you guys noticed that there were several pairs of boots in these cubbies.
When we get into the mud room, Sophie obviously like I mean, we were walking through the swamp, so probably got like mud up to my waist. We just watched Sophie just kind of look at her outfit and just kind of swipe things off as I systematically go through and just tidy everything with a bit of magical pep. And I have no need for the mud room because everything is spick and span.
Giddy would be taking off his boots a la Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, with his like feet uncurling out and everything. Just like, man, my grippers needed that.
Rip
Alright.
would look down, and he's got no boots, just frog feet. But I feel like the mud would just fall off of him naturally, and he would just not have to worry about that. Because
There's also
nature-
like a trough and rags that you could use also.
Yeah, I think Calliope would be like grabbing
Get in it.
a brush and a cloth and like notice Souffle and be like, "Do you mind?" That's not her voice. Do you mind?
Do you mind?
Do you mind?
She's
Where are the other drugs going?
God, I would do a voice like that. I would lose the ability to speak in like 13 seconds. If you wouldn't mind, that would be save some time. We can get this sorted out faster. I'm quite muddy.
Sure. I'll walk over and just kind of tidy up Calliope with my prestidigitation.
Much obliged.
And I nod and I side mask, because you can't see my face, I side mask over at Giddy, and then just look at Brip, and then I pause back on Giddy. I kind of reluctantly am like, do you need any help?
Well, I mean, if you're offering, I don't want to impose. I could use a little bit of help myself. I don't want to go back home with these boots all muddy. That would be the death of me. Quite literally.
Of course.
Get my ass kicked if my boots are dirty.
I have there's a range of 10 feet on this, so I don't walk up to Giddy. I just kind of like, like flick and point and stuff, and we just see the mud get fully removed from Giddy. And afterwards, if Brip needs a little bit of tidying up, sure.
You would turn around and Brip is in the water trough, rubbing his feet together.
Oh my gosh.
Like one foot, like rubbing the other one, like a hand could, And he's just like,
Ew. Sorry.
he doesn't know how to use this thing.
Well, that problem solved itself.
This guy.
Everybody gonna roll a secret perception check, please.
You were all attacked.
By a water elemental in the trough.
Mud.
Noga.
Mud elemental, even worse.
All right, Calliope, as you're kind of watching Souffle perform the cleaning spell upon everybody, you kind of unintentionally take note of the belongings in each of these cubbies, and you count 6 groups of belongings. It's a mix of like maybe a bag or extra pair of boots, cloak, any grouping of like belongings. 6 different cubbies.
And none of it looks like it matches. It's like very clearly like, oh, I'll just use 2 cubbies because this boot is too big, so I'll put my bag next to my boots.
You want to investigate the cubbies a little bit more?
While it's happening, just like kind of take it in a little bit more. I wouldn't say investigate it, like rummage through it, but maybe after noticing that, take a more conscious look at it.
Sure. Okay. So it looks like 2 cubbies, right next to each other. Looks like there's a lighter coat and kind of like a daintier pair of boots, and then next to that one, a larger men's coat, heavier men's coat with a pair of bigger boots, and a separate cubby from those 2. There's a large sack that looks like it was just shoved in there. It's filled with something, but you can't quite tell, but it's kind of like sticking out. Then there are looks like a little bit more of a decorated coat. It's got reds and mixed with leathers, and it's even got like flowers sewn into it. Kind of pretty. And then next to that is a a heavy coat, and then another with a small leather pouch. Sorry, not a pouch, but like a bag with a buckle that's put in with a regular sized set of leather boots. Black, and they look the cleanest out of all the boots that you see here.
Okay. Yeah, I think she's just gonna file this away.
Okay.
Just like, I don't know if this needs to be thought of more, but interesting that there's 4 people in here, and looks like there's a little bit more.
Yeah.
They need a lost and found.
And as you guys are at the table, this red-haired woman, she introduces herself as Lilia. She says, "Hi, I'm Lilia Harper. We don't get travelers here in the Soddenwood often, but I'm happy to have you. We don't have much choice in the way of drinks or food, but if you got anything in mind, I can try and whip something up for you."
It's been a long day of whatever the heck's been going on, so I'll just take whatever you have on tap, hun. I don't care what it is.
She nods. Excellent. Looks at the rest of you.
I'll abstain. But thank you.
I wouldn't mind a stew.
She nods.
Have any stew?
We've got a
God,
vegetable
you-
stew and a green chowder.
Really got you there, Dylan.
Stew, but
It just really caught me off guard. It's such a funny. I don't know. Got any stew?
I'll have some of that.
which one? The chowder or the vegetable stew?
Chowder.
Chowder. Okay, excellent.
I'm fine with water for now as well. You said Soddenwood?
Mm-hmm.
Forgive me. That's okay. Thank you. We'll wait for the stew. See what it looks like.
He looks at you curiously, and she says, "Well, I'm. If you got a question, you can ask it, dear."
She just shakes her head.
She kind of just nods. All right. Well, I'll be back shortly. She kind of turns, and walks away, briskly.
Then Calliope will kind of whisper to the group. Soddenwood is not Mushfen. I personally don't know if the Soddenwood is in the Mushfens. They didn't want to come off like an idiot in front of her. Considering we don't know what we don't know, we barely know what we do know, I thought it best that I confer with you before I open up with her and say, we don't know where we are. So,
That's wise.
Well,
you might say I have a little wisdom.
well, I mean, do you think there'd be any harm in asking her if they've seen anyone else come through just recently? From what she said, it doesn't sound like it, but you never know.
That's
I
a
don't
good
do
point.
I don't do no investigating on an empty stomach.
Not till I've had my stew. That's so funny to me. I have no idea why.
I just
Well-
imagine he'd be hungry.
Yeah. No, you're probably absolutely right. We walked through the swamp for hours.
The first thing he's thinking about is some hot food, you know. He normally eats like mushrooms and whatever he could find. More of a forager, so it's like,
yeah. Take the night off of grubs.
Mm-hmm.
We could ask her. We should ask. We wouldn't come off too strange asking if there's anybody with a last name, again, she consults the letter. Willowsby, Hiddens, Hornsbillow. Willowsby is someone else. I'm knew of in a dream.
That's a really long name.
Hornsbillow. You don't necessarily have to say horse, but
Made me
the
think
brother
of
likely
Oglesby.
shares the last name. So if we ask for if there's another Hornsbillow in town,
Hornsbillow Willoughby.
Mr. Willowsby was a man I once dreamt of.
I'm
An old.
Well then,
Anyway.
tell us more.
so. Who are we? I'm like, I heard so many names in the last 5 minutes. I have no
Hornsbillow,
idea.
Hornsbillow, Hornsbillow.
Okay.
Are you sure you don't need something to eat? You sound a little delirious.
I probably do. Oh, that's not a voice either. God, this is gonna take a while. Yes, just something simple. Whenever she comes back, she'll just order like some bread and cheese, or like whatever, like the simplest thing, like the equivalent to chips and salsa.
Okay.
You can tell we're Californian.
Yeah.
Chips and salsa, bread and butter. All right. Yeah, after a few moments, 15 or so minutes, she comes back with your vegetable stew for Brip. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Vegetable stew for you.
You wanted the chowder.
She,
Wanted to
Send it
chowder.
back.
oh, I'm sorry. The chowder. That's right. And then she lays it down. Just keep thinking of stew for some reason. And
I've been stewing on it too.
it's she kind of smiles at that. And then you look down in the bowl. It looks good. It looks like it's a mix of root vegetables, a nice, smooth white chowder. Looks like there's cuts of fish, and she says we got some catfish, some carp, some bass, and some crawdads in there to give it some color. She gives you a big spoon, and then she says, "Yeah, you didn't ask for anything to drink, but I figured you could do with a nice mug of cider." And she lays it down next to it, places it right next to it for you. She says, "I got cider for all of you. Actually, we don't get a lot of visitors, so I figured this first round would be on me." And then she gives. Sorry, what the hell? Giddy? You asked for whatever's on tap, so she just gives you a tankard of ale. Everybody else has cider if they want it.
Yeah. Sip on that cider.
She says, "So, what brings you to Soddenwood? If you don't mind me asking, I understand if you want your privacy, but like I said, we don't get a lot of visitors, and I'm just curious."
Well, we're looking for somebody. Somebody with the last name of oh goodness, Hornswallow, Withers Swallow, Bees.
Hornsbillow.
That one. What she said.
Hornsbillow.
A
Hornsbillow.
man named Horn with the last name Hornsbillow.
Horns-
He's an
Robert, did you
associate
mute
of
yourself?
ours.
No, I'm just
Oh,
talking
okay.
very quietly. Hornsbillow. And she kind of looks up for a moment, and then she says, "Hornsbillow? It doesn't sound familiar, but I know it." Is that strange to say?
Yeah, that
Sorry, it must be the swamp.
doesn't make sense.
The swamp air is getting to me.
I think it's getting to all of us today.
Has anyone come through here of late?
No,
Besides us?
you're the first we've had in some time.
Interesting. Does the name Mushfen mean anything to you?
Yes, we're in it.
Ah, well, even better.
Soulflare just looks at Giddy. Just the mask.
You get like a big ass frog side eye.
Yeah, this is gonna be like a friends to lover or enemies to lover situation going on here.
Hey, listen, I never go outside the city much, okay?
No,
All
that's
right, well,
understandable. Yeah, but,
at least now we know where we are. Kind of says through his teeth.
yeah, we're a small community. Mostly people that kind of just want to get away and be left alone. We don't get a lot of traffic, as I'd said.
I respect that. You value your privacy. Well, speaking of privacy, I think my friends and I here might need a minute to ourselves.
Sure.
But while you're at it, I would also like some of that chowder. It sounds really good.
Sure, we
It
have
is
other
good.
offerings too, if you're curious. We've got some sautéed croc,
Hope.
deep fried muskrats, platypus tail, duck confit.
Duck confit. All right, give me some of that. That's good eats right there.
Of course. And any of you else feeling?
Did you say duck
Froggy?
corn feet?
Shoot. Duck corn feet. That sounds quite delicious, but no, I did not say that. No, duck confit. It's a delicious.
I've never heard of it.
It's duck breast fried in its own fat.
His eyes would get big, like
Yeah.
It's very succulent.
just kind of back out, like, oh.
I'll take you up on some of that stew.
I know a few ducks.
Yeah.
Then she walks away again.
Would like to do a roll, secret perception roll for that whole thing. What is that called? Sense motive.
Sense motive. Okay.
Sorry.
It's alright. Sure. So, with that roll, you catch that she seems to be just as confused, or in that moment, she was just as confused as you guys were, or are. And that something is off. You don't know what it is. You think she's telling the truth?
Or think that she thinks she's telling the truth?
Yes, exactly.
Got it. Does anybody have anything to say in character? Because I'll bring up the cubby situation
Think.
Uh,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
and just be like, Lilia. Lilia seemed like there was a moment there where she was confused. She seemed confident in what she was saying, but it also seemed like she didn't know what she was saying. And it makes me uncomfortable. On top of that, there's 4 patrons in here. It seemed when we came in the little mud room where Brip had a little swim and we got cleaned up. The cubby situation there seemed to be things left behind, extra items. I'm not quite sure. It didn't really add up to a total of 4 persons' belongings. It seemed that there was extra. At the time, I didn't think anything of it, but it's kind of wearing on me.
Her memory lapse was strange. I had a strange happening with the gnome outside. For a moment, it didn't look like he was drunk and sleeping. It looked like he was bloodied and battered. And on the way here, we've had these. We've recalled that we had a conference of sorts before. We've met each other, and then that recognition is there, but I cannot remember the discussion. I don't remember who this horse is, just that we have to escort him based off your notes. I don't know if she's a
Correct.
victim or part of the scheme. I don't know what's going on here, but there's something happening.
I think I'm just here because it's swampy.
I suspect that you're here for more than that, my friend.
Exactly. The gods put so many things in motion. This is but one of the wheels they turn.
Well, this isn't one of the other families of Sandpoint's tricks or something stupid.
How many families of Sandpoint? Who would you assume it is? If so, we don't have to go down that route of roleplay. Sorry.
Politics.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be more prepared to answer that question on a day that's not today.
Fair. Again, all of our memories seem to be spotty at best. I mean, I do know who I am, and I can remember months ago, years ago, where I grew up, things like that, but hours ago, maybe mere days ago, it's still so foggy. Maybe after this meal, we can sleep on it, think on it, meditate, pray, and we might have some more answers.
Yeah, possibly. I'm a little afraid to fall asleep here if you feel what I'm putting down.
I wasn't until you said that.
I would agree.
I just know if we tried to leave in the middle of the night, it might make the journey that much more difficult, especially considering we have no real idea where we are or how to get out of here. And then we're looking for someone who doesn't appear to be here. We were following them and then they disappear.
I prefer to travel at night.
Well, just a thought. When you were looking at those cubbies earlier, what did the clothing all look human size, like you, or what was you looking at?
They did. They looked human size, and can you guys roll secret perception checks for me?
So I remember there was a nice jacket with flowers, a bag that looked like there was something in it and it was just stuffed in there. Then there was what I'm assuming are these two, this married couple. They can't keep their hands off each other. It's a little uncomfortable. But theirs was right next to it. There was a set of boots that was very clean.
It'd be less weird if they didn't make the noise.
Yeah, it's besides this buzzing, it's the second most annoying sound in this building.
You know,
It's like slorp, slorp, slorp.
you know, I feel like we've only seen two species as we've been in here. One random gnome, and then the rest are human. Now, I don't want to make any assumptions, but I don't know if that gnome is from here. Something just feels funny about that.
I mean, if he wasn't so drunk or beaten, potentially. I'm
We
not
could attempt to
sure.
rouse him.
Yeah, we should maybe potentially. I don't know. My medicine skills made it seem like he was just hammered drunk, so I'm not sure I would be able to treat any wounds if I wasn't able to see them.
Well, I'm not saying that this is a good solution, but I know one way to wake almost anyone up. He just kind of lights one of the tips of his fingers on fire. If I put this where the sun don't shine, he'll wake right up.
You have curious methods. Though
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I do believe they would be effective.
I'm not.
So
I don't know.
As you end that sentence, all of you hear the sound of clapping and like the stomping of feet. You kind of look over to the other people in the bar here, and the guy with the drink that was staring at the bottom of his cups. Looks like he's playing a beat, and as he's doing that, the couple they just start dancing and laughing and smiling. They look very happy together, and the human man that's doing the clapping and stomping to some unheard beat or music. He might be humming along too, and maybe you hear Lilia in the back, kind of humming along or singing along too. They, the man that's doing the stomping and clapping, he's kind of balding, got greasy, straight, black hair, got wide eyes, kind of like a huge furrowed brow, stumpy looking nose. He's probably like 5'6", but he's kind of stout. If he was any shorter, you think he'd be a dwarf, but the lack of beard makes you think he's human otherwise. The couple, they look human. They look very happy. You can clearly see that they're both wearing rings, and smiling. The husband is probably in his late 30s, early 40s, wearing decent clothes, somewhat clean, and the wife is she's black-haired, wearing a kind of very humble dress. And though you notice that she has two different colored eyes. Sylphlate, that's what you notice. And as soon as you notice those two different colored eyes, the sound stops for you. That buzzing, the headache slowly disappears, and then your vision clears also. And as it does so, the man that's clapping, he's got two like meaty handfuls of flesh, and he's slapping them together. It's like a mix of meat and blood and intestines, and his stomping is actually stomping on a mix of bones and flesh also, stomping it into the ground. Maybe with every little step too, he's kind of grinding it in between the floorboards, squelching beneath his heavy footprints or boots. And but the couple, they're dancing, and it seems like they're very happy. You can hear clearly the humming from Lilia behind you, or in the back preparing the food. And then again, a conversation, your memory comes back. The conversation you had, Sandpoint, all that's there. You'll agree to help Calliope escort Horus. And you remember there was somebody else there. That part's hazy. Just as the silhouette of a person in a chair next to Calliope starts to lighten, your memory fades again, and what you see is the jovial, bald-headed man clapping and stomping to some unheard beat. A couple dancing again.
I think in initially seeing the like this macabre sight, Sofle, who is kind of like she got on her knees and is kind of like kneeling, so she's actually of proper height to the table because of the stool. You probably would have seen her fully jump up on the stool, so she's a little taller, and immediately kind of hunker down into the table a bit with just laser focus is hard to say because I wear this emotionless mask, but immediately, and I think for the companions, like maybe you notice something like something a little different in the air around Silflay, but we've been moving all throughout the swamp, right? The swamp is kind of like this humid area, but now with this sort of like intense shift in mood, you can see that around Silflay is muted because it's just ash that lingers all through the air, and now it has become much more visible. You can see that like on the stool, like where she stood up, like there was just even more of a cloud of ash. So there's just like this, almost like this smoky haze of Drugitis, right? Just kind of floating around her. And you can see that where these different colored leaves, right? The sort of colors of autumn end, there are bits of leaves that are losing the color and going that transparent thing as they kind of like wisp away and create this ash around her. She's very still and very focused, sort of like a dog on alert. And even when it disappears, she sits there for probably a good like 15-20 seconds. It's very noticeable and probably very uncomfortable, if the drunken man even notices.
Sylph, you got some zhuzh around you. What's that about?
She looks at you, and before, usually it's like a kind of like a slow pan. Like there's attitude to the look she's been giving you almost, but this is like here and then just suddenly shift, almost like a horror. And she,
I'm seeing more confusing things.
and she's going to sit down and just the mask is kind of cocked, but out of the eye holes, I'm watching the man.
Yeah, as you're watching him, it looks like he's just humming some tune, clapping, stomping. And the couple seems like they're enjoying themselves. Shortly after Livia comes out with your next round of food.
I mean, you don't answer this too loud, but what kind of things are you seeing?
I'll wait for Liliana to put the food down and back away before I move or say anything.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard for her to tell your demeanor with the mask on, so she doesn't seem to pay you any attention, even though you are acting strange. But then she puts down the bowls, and do you guys need anything else? Drinks? Another round of drinks? You're still working on them?
Yeah. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think we might be good for a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, Calliope just like holds her hand up like, you dismissed.
Brip would just be nodding as he's already into the second round of stew or chowder.
So Soylent Green in the chat. I'm like,
He's trying to act normal, They look over, they just see some guy eating, nothing going on over there.
Yeah, as you're eating, once Liliana backs away,
But he's still listening.
so Flavor will reach out, just like kind of hand towards above your bowl, not like grabbing it or anything, just like,
May I add something to it? May I add something to all of yours?
I don't see why not.
interesting, but I'll allow it.
Yeah, I've eaten worse.
and then she kind of reaches into her bag and takes out like a small bit of jerky, and you can see like she sort of one by one kind of brings everybody's food over just kind of in front of her and leans in and kind of lifts her mask up just a little bit, so it's like you kind of see the silhouette of her
Pops
chin.
all on our food.
Well, she blows, but as she does, it's just kind of like this wisp of ash and a little bit of embers that
Some bomb pepper.
goes over. Yeah, and so for the next hour, You guys will gain 5 temporary hit points.
Ooh.
Ooh, sick.
And because I put a little bit of jerky out myself, I'm also
What
going
the
to gain
heck?
5
That's
temporary hit
dope.
points.
Neat.
Pretty cool.
That's way cooler. I thought you were like purifying food. That was very cool.
Not a cleric. Don't have that spell.
Yeah, I was like, huh,
So
what
you
is
have
this?
I had
5
no
temporary hit
idea what
points.
you were gonna do. I was just like, whatever. This is gonna be cool.
You get 5 temporary hit points, resistance to fire 2, and +1 to saves against disease.
As much as I want to say yes, I have to choose one until it's
Oh,
heightened.
1.
At
Gotcha.
full,
Oh, I see that. now.
so yeah, as soon as we hit 4th level or 4th level spells,
Gotcha.
yeah, because it's only spell 2 right now. So, yeah, 4th and 7th is when we get to get 2 benefits and 5, and then all 3 benefits, and duration is increased too.
Cool.
And
I do think that actually everybody within my aura gets a +1 to saves against disease.
Nice. Yeah, and you guys should be able to drag that from the spell effect in
I gotcha.
Foundry.
Can Giddy very subtly like look at this man who Sylph was just kind of pointing out and do a little occultism vibe check?
Go make that a secret check.
Yeah.
Yeah, as he's doing that,
Vibe check.
I would have answered after I gave everybody the food and waited for Liliana to leave.
I saw a similar. It was a grotesque scene. He was clapping with bits of flesh in his hand. He was stomping upon
I'm eating.
Viscera. Trying. There is something wrong here.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Man, that gives me that gives me some skin saw man vibes. I don't know how I feel about that.
We should not eating frog soup.
Good call. I like that. Call.
And then Brip is gonna push his bowl away. It's like,
I
I
should
guess
mention
I
also
won't
that,
be eating that.
you all start with a hero point because we're fresh.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
A hairpint.
Hearing all this, Calliope is like already pretty serious, but she like locks in on this and leans in and is just wrapped by what Sylphlay is saying and replies, I haven't seen the evidence for myself. I do trust you with what you're saying, but until I see it myself, I'm not sure. It's unacceptable, that type of behavior, and it must be stopped. But my own eyes deceive me. I'm unable to verify what you're saying. I'd put a stop to it, but
I'm not asking you to jump to conclusions. That's fine. But be aware. The cupboard scenario is strange. Her memory lapse, all memory lapse, is strange. And I seem to be the only one having these visions.
and she just pulls the sword a little bit tighter, sitting on the arm of the chair, and flexes her hand muscles.
Sylphlay has noticeably not touched the cider that was put down. She has not drank or ate anything from this tavern. The only thing that she ate was a ration from her own pack. Well, a bite of the ration from her own pack. But yeah.
Did we have to eat something to get that thing?
You just had to eat a little bit of whatever you were,
Okay, got it.
whatever
Yeah.
you were eating. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, I mean, even just looking and being like, yep, these are carrots. Clearly, it's not how it's working. So, yeah, I have no fucking idea.
Yeah. Hopefully my occultism check was a decent number.
Oh, yes, sorry. So with that check, and you've been kind of keeping an eye on him since Silflay's mentioned that strange vision, and he just seems to be enjoying himself. This is looks like he's kind of he seems like he's very drunk, but otherwise keeping to a decent beat, enough for the couple to dance. And this has probably been going on for at least 2 songs. It seems like they're probably approaching the end of it. And Lily is kind of just behind the bar tending to it and humming along with the drunken man. After a few moments, they kind of laugh and hug, and they give each other kind of like endearing looks, and they sit down and they ask Lilia for another order of food. The woman says, "We'll have some. How about a bowl of your dried crappies?" Lilia nods and disappears into the back.
I don't know how I feel about anything called a crappy.
Brip would know
Are
that's
we-
a fish.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Hey y'all,
I thought you would know that out there in the Midwest.
are we still
No, I
staying
do.
the night
Okay.
here?
Very
Say
bold.
that one more time, Rip.
We still staying the night here?
Not sure where else we could go, but
Based
I'm
on
I'm
what-
happy to stay up and guard us throughout the evening. Should we talk to these folks?
That's very nice
the
of
bar.
you for taking watch so we can all sleep. Let's get.
Well, my 2 ideas at this point are to talk to the people at the bar or start walking through town shouting that person's name that we were with.
Bee
Who I s-
swallow.
I still can't remember. Horns man.
Hornswoggle.
Below.
Horns
Why is
below.
it so hard to remember?
It's
Horace.
Horns below.
Just start shouting Horace.
Horace horns below.
Horns below what?
Horns below his belly button.
Oh, that's
I
a
think
very
talking to
inconvenient
Mole-
place.
His cousin is moons over Miami.
I think talking to the couple, it'd be good. Perhaps we can get more information, but with these visions, I maybe should not approach them.
Well, allow me. I have quite a way with some peoples. So, Giddy's gonna hop down off of the stool and kind of walk his little way over. There, we're a little way over.
Just as you hop down, the tavern doors are swung open, and you see the gnome stumble in. Head is down. Looks like he may have taken a tumble into the marsh on his way here, sopping wet. But he grabs the nearest table and kind of slides himself up, and you see the balding, trunk, greasy-haired man kind of look over at him, squints, and kind of looks back at Lilia. Lilia notices that he's there as she comes out with the dried crappies, puts the bowl down in front of the couple, and then kind of just stares at the gnome for a moment, and then he kind of lifts his head up. You hear him crack his neck, and then he looks over in your guys' direction, and it looks like his eyes are stark white. He's drooling a little bit, mouth is open, and he says, See you next week.
God fucking damn it. I knew it. I was like, how much is he going to get out before he says, and then we'll see you next time?
I thought he was about to be like, doom upon ye.
Yeah, exactly. He opens his mouth and locusts fly out.
All right, everybody. That's the end
Oh,
of
man.
the first episode of our Interlude, episode 27 of our full run here. And hope you enjoyed it. I hope I confused the crap out of everybody, and I think
Congratulations.
Sure did.
But yeah, next week we'll continue where we're at. And toodaloo, bye-bye, and always and forever.
Live by the
Live by the
die.
die.
And die by the die. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye by the die.
Bye 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 bye.
Bye by the die.